Hello again and welcome to another episode of The Paradigm Shift. I'm Nick Zigich and we're here to crack some paradigms. Of course, to actually find a paradigm to shift, we got to first find the paradigm. And there's many of them, they're called paradigms because we don't know they're there. We're locked in paradigms, and unless we can walk out of it, they don't exist. And once we locate them, we want to unlock them. So to help me do that today on a very, very specific topic of career and education are the good people from Mount Sierra right here in Pasadena, Laurel Click, sorry, and Tani Hernandez. So welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
All right. So we'll start just by a little bit of introduction here because I'm excited. I have to say, okay, I don't know if the camera can catch, but I'm putting my hand here on a real Emmy. So, Laura, let's start with you.
Okay. Well, my background, I'm on faculty at Mount Sierra College teaching visual effects. And my background is in visual effects, obviously. I started in film. My first film I worked on was Star Wars. The Star Wars, the 1977 yes, Star Wars. Yes. And I worked on Terminator, Predator, Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, many effects films.
The list is fantastic.
Yeah.
Check it out. It is online. You know, I have to just, as I was reading about you a little bit, it was fantastic that you actually started as a projector operator in the theaters?
Yes. I had gone to art school, and that was my background, but I was working as a projectionist. All over Los Angeles. So I've been in just about every projection booth that there is, and it is and some like the Wiltern, which is yes, amazing. It's, you know, the old you know, huge knife switches on the walls, and really an amazing place. But yeah, I was working as a projectionist, and that's where I learned to handle film.
I have to read it twice, like, oh, really?
Was she really? It's kind of a subculture.
It did have, and we'll get back to that, a little kind of feeling that why did I read that twice? As I went back to the name, I said, like, is this a boy or a girl? You know, but we'll get back to that. Just reading like the history
You're not
there.
the only one that's asked that.
All right, Tani.
For me, I'm the Director of Career Services at Mount Sierra. I've been there for almost 5 years now, and I've worked in education for about 8.5 years now. So I came with the staffing and HR background prior to that, yes, and I love education. I love Mount Sierra. I love what I do to help the students.
And what excited me about bringing you here, and you know, you're a team just perfectly meant for the show, and that's how, I don't know how it happened, but it did, and I'm blessed, is your passion about career and direction and all these things that I wanted to actually introduce or analyze as paradigms, and try to change them, because we got to walk away from this show with having something that the audience will actually enjoy. So, career.
Yes. So careers are changing. Technology is becoming the main focus of every industry, no matter where you go. And I think it's really nice because Laurel and I work really closely together. Because she's a faculty member and with me overseeing the Career Services Department, we really partner together to help make sure that our students are fully prepared for the workforce. So it's a great collaboration between both areas.
Right. So we'll use Mount Sierra as sample for the overall theme. Where is education? How do kids, you know, my son and daughter are in college now. They're at Citrus, at Public. A bunch of their friends went to different colleges around the country. The topic is constantly, you know, do you go across the country? Do you stay local? Do you go with a main college? You go with a community college?
How do you find a home?
Where you know, there's so much. And we know as a statistical fact, that unfortunately a lot go in but never finish.
Drop out.
So let's try to actually, let's define a paradigm shift. We want to help the paradigm. You want to help me out with that definition? What would you consider a paradigm here? Something that we're just stuck in and can't see out of it.
I think with just traditional ways we go about education, I think also seeing technology as only technology. It's not. It's art and technology. Those students in visual effects and in gaming, they're learning the technology, but they are also artists. And I think we need to approach it that way, because the art end of it is the part that will get them through all the technology changes they're going to have in their careers. They just are there. That's what got me through transitioning from film into digital, which was a trial by fire.
Yeah.
Here, you have some shots you have to do on this computer, which you've never worked on before. And they're also trained to be able to think in order to not just be stuck in, well, this is the machine and this is what it does and this is what I know, but when that next thing comes along, to be able to adjust to that.
And those things come along pretty quickly, right? The technology actually in my field, in the real estate field, we just about conquer one application when it becomes obsolete and something else takes over.
Right.
So, you know, how much time, we don't actually get to use it and experience it before we need to learn others. So you're actually learning all the time without making money. If you know, it can come to that.
There's a lot in visual effects where you do learn on the job. You know, you have to come in, walk in with a certain amount of knowledge, but companies do recognize that technology, it changes very quickly, and also that they may have proprietary software that that people need to learn.
So Donnie, when people come in and they're prepared to do something, we discussed that it is imperative or very important that the institution they come to educate themselves has people that are in the industry, that know, they're experts and so on. How do you kind of feel about all that? And where would you take like choices when somebody is choosing their college and they do have aspirations to something?
Right.
How would they go around that?
I think the thing to remember is that a lot of times, people that graduate high school aren't really sure what to do at that point in their life.
Yep.
So either they follow in the footsteps of their parents and try to go that route because that's all they really know, or are they going to start exploring something that maybe they do have a strong passion for? So a lot of the students that may come to the college are ones that really haven't experienced anything like this, and it's kind of making the parents understand why they have this dream, how it can actually work, and then making the students know that this is achievable. It's not just like an artistic ability. It's like you can make a living out of this. You could make good money doing what you love every day.
I love what you just said. You know, actually, you created that paradigm for me right now, because when you said what they want to study is what they inherited from the parents or the continuation of that, that was me. I finished civil engineering. I never worked as a civil engineer, but my mom and dad were, and they wanted me to finish civil engineering. So in order to stay at home, I did.
To survive.
Yeah. So I did, and I worked for a couple of months, and I thought it was dry for me, and I, at that time I had a band and all that good stuff. But the paradigm exactly there is I did that because of the parents, and they would say, finish this, and all your music and all your creative part, that is a hobby.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a hobby. You make a living doing something serious, and then that is the paradigm.
But this is
all right.
serious
So you
now.
just,
it is.
I mean, what parent would ever think somebody could make a living off of, visual effects or making a video game? Where has that even been heard of? So it is. It's a new way. It's a new way of living.
Video
Making
games.
a cartoon.
All right. Yeah.
Like playing, having fun.
Well, having said that, I think it's a great moment actually to introduce some of the work that your students do at college. Would you agree that this
Absolutely.
Yes, I think it'd be
so
a great
that
time
actually
for that.
We can see some of the ideas and creativity, which will take us into the next part, with the show. So let's look at this little clip. Wow, that is a good video clip. Tell me about it a little bit. I mean, there was all kinds of things that were lined up quickly. At the end, maybe it's just me, but I like the animation, the little kind of 3D stuff. Your students made all that?
Yes, absolutely. That's all student work, and it's from visual effects, it's from the game arts students, and it's a compilation just quickly cut together to give you a sense of the types of work that if someone comes to Mount Sierra that they would be doing.
Yeah.
And some of it is work from first-year students.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my kids want to kind of play, and they can make some money with this?
I
They
think
definitely can.
playing is the way to make money. Playing is yes, absolutely. If somebody's not playing, if they're not having fun, and that's how I feel in my courses and at school. If you're not having fun, and fun can be, rather serious sometimes.
And stressful,
And
stressful.
stressful.
Stressful fun.
Yes.
Stressful fun, yes.
I'll plug in one that I love is like, if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life.
Yes.
Yeah, I
That's
like
it.
that one, yeah. So we looked at different pieces of art here, and we defined the definition of our paradigm shift in this show, at least, would be, that kids do what their parents did. What percentage of people actually do follow that role? That they cannot step out of the expectations of their parents.
Not really at our school. Our school are mostly the ones that are now transitioning into this new idea of where they want to go with their life. That aren't really following their parents.
Okay.
So I would say the majority of our students.
For you, but
are the ones
with
that
your
go outside.
with your
Right.
experience and so on, what part of students are there? People do follow that expectations, the expectations from their parents.
I think most people do.
Most people do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a
Because
20
that's
rule
their
too?
that's like their first main teacher in life. That's
Right.
their
Right.
first role model. That's who they look up to.
And you don't know how to get from here to there unless you've
Right.
seen it done. And I think that's where Mount Sierra really shines, is the fact that it has that guidance to go, you may have a dream, but without the map, without the set of
Yes.
instructions, it's like, how are you going to
How do you
get
do
there?
it?
Right.
And down to the simplest things. I mean, my class is at this time, but the buses are running like this, and to the larger issue, issues like, am I going to get the classes I want, that sort of thing. But I think that having that roadmap really makes a difference.
One of the I experienced one conversation some years back, and I remember it clearly. I use it in my presentations. I kind of like to teach too, so I go out and have a couple of courses. But there was two ladies talking in front of me. We're at the pool watching our kids swim and so on, and they're saying like, "Can you believe for so and so, their friend, they put so much into their daughter. She went to the best school. She did piano, violin, harmonica, all this stuff." And then she got accepted at Harvard. And can you believe what she did to them? She went for drama and arts. Instead of being a lawyer, doctor, or something like that. What a slap in the face. So how many kids would kind of, including myself, I finished civil engineering because my parents did, even though looking back, I would have done anything to have taught myself how to sing and sang in my band. I think that was, when I look back, that was the course that would actually really had me going. But we are where we are. So how do you help students in their career choices? Do you have that, Tani?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I think most times when they're going to college, they have an idea. So, I mean, we don't only teach like the visual side of things.
Right.
Playing could be many things. Many people like to take things apart, or they love math, so they can program things, or take apart computer pieces and put them together. So I think it's fully understanding the person and letting them know what careers are out there. You come in on one thing, saying, "I'm going to be a computer programmer." And it's like, well, that's wonderful that you think that, but let's talk about why you want to do this and where you see yourself, not just today, not tomorrow, but 5, 10, 15 years from now. Let's
Okay.
talk about this. And I think it's really hard for the youth to do that.
Probably.
It's making them really think. Because it's hard for us to think like, what am I going to do in the next 5 years?
After the next week.
Yes, exactly. So you really have to train them to start thinking like that, and showing them what's open and out there, and explaining like the different types of companies, the different types of industries, because everybody needs, an IT person. It's not just one industry. It's all industries.
Yeah.
Same thing with graphics. You can find a graphic artist anywhere.
Yeah, so you have them in museums,
Yes.
you have graphic artists in nonprofits, you
Healthcare,
have healthcare.
Everything.
Everywhere there are graphic artists, and you're absolutely right with IT.
Yeah.
And security, which are all things in business entrepreneurial.
Yes, that's big.
Entrepreneurship, yes, absolutely.
Many people want to own their own business, but they need to learn what it takes.
Unless
Yeah,
somebody's
It's
in
not that
business,
easy.
yes.
How do you do that? How do you actually, in the process of talking with them, how do you reach to them?
How do you reach out to them?
Yeah, how do you get actually and we're talking about a sensitive age here.
Yes.
Right, it's an age that is a little confused because there's input is coming and there's choices to be made, and we're not ready for them at that age, most of us. So how do you reach in and help them consciously make that choice, or start thinking about it? Do you?
Well, through my experience, I think it's easier to tell them stories. To me, it's a big thing about storytelling and having them understand different situations that people have gone through.
Right.
They don't just learn by you just directing them on one way to go. You have to give them the opportunity to make the decision. But I think it's explaining and telling stories about what other people have gone through and their experiences. Maybe having them intern or shadow somebody that's already been going through it or gone through it in the past.
Yeah, see, it's different for me now at my age. When I am sitting here next to Laurel, I would go straight into college and start learning because, oh my God, ta-da!
Yeah, it does. Not real quickly, but yes.
So, I have to use the opportunity to pick your brain a little bit, since you got not just experience, but the success story there too. And you have worked on all these great movies. Tell us a little bit about your experiences throughout the years and these movies that you did, and how would you interpret that learning curve into, or how would you kind of implement that learning curve into the definitions of what we're talking today? Was it a hard one? I didn't understand myself.
Glad that's not my question.
Okay, I'll run with that. In effects, a lot of how people, my age learned effects was through more or less apprenticeships, whether that, it wasn't official, but you would learn, somebody would hire you on and you would, okay, do this, all right, do this, all right, try, and little by little you'd begin to, learn a trade, which is nice.
Yes.
In a way, it's a good way of learning. And I
Getting
think
the opportunity for that is
difficult.
Yep.
Is difficult. There were a few people in my life that helped me along at real critical points, which was, didn't offer me, but gave me a job, or offered me a job at certain points, and that was really a plus. And I think for Mount Sierra, the fact that there's working professionals there make a difference, because you see what it's like, or you hear the stories of what is that lifestyle. It's not just doing the work. There is a whole lifestyle to whatever business a person gets into, whatever career course. There's that story again.
Yeah.
Of working all night, sleeping on the couch, getting up and working again.
So since you are the Emmy winner, there's, I think that what you touched on is something that you need to elaborate a little bit. Is you don't get successful just by breathing every day. You gotta you gotta do things, and there is that we mentioned, the stressful fun, and the process to get through it. But there must be also strategy, wisdom, a little luck. And what would you, for those people that are thinking, okay, where does the next 20 years take me?
Tenacity. Tenacity. Just not listening to people that tell you you know, this is not what you should do, or this is not going to get you anywhere. It's like there's certain things you just need to close your ears to, and then there is to, you know, it's just go. I am going to do that, and that kind of tenacity. Somebody may be extremely, extremely talented, but if they can't hang in there,
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen.
And getting your name out there. You know,
think
networking
so.
with people, having them understand what you do. Some people forget to have normal conversations with their family and friends on a regular basis on what they do.
Yes.
Right.
Because everybody knows about different opportunities. But how many
Exactly.
times do you tell your aunts or your uncles?
I
"This
ask
is
my
what I
students
do."
that. I ask them, and they'll go, "Oh, I have an aunt, or that's doing
it's
something."
right
Or I
in
have
the
an aunt.
family.
I go, "Well, interview them. Ask
Yes.
them about their job.
How did they
you
get
know?
there?
Yeah, exactly.
I just had that conversation before coming here with about real estate. Most of my friends and family don't know I'm a realtor. I don't stress it enough to them, and
Right.
you know, during our little
right.
get-togethers and lunches and dinners and whatever we do as normal people,
Right.
I don't talk about my job. I do to my clients and my
Right.
prospects, but not to my family.
I think I do it too much. Because everybody knows in the family. You need a resume done, cover letter, come to me.
Well, I
Everybody in
just
the family
figured
knows.
this out, so I started doing newsletters for my family and whatnot. Like, okay, you're part of the deal now. But exactly, people don't realize that. So going back to that tenacity. So if I were to invent a tenacity pill, I would get rich.
I think so.
Okay.
I think
What
so.
an invention.
Yeah, there you go. That
Absolutely.
idea. So how?
Link to college. And I think that we also have that, and that's
We
a help.
do.
Yeah.
We have some free workshops coming up to let people test drive their careers.
Hey.
If they're very unsure, you know, they just really don't know where to go and they just want to try something out. We have two, one starting in May and one starting in July. And it's a 6-week free course for
6
them just to
weeks?
try it out. And we have it normally in business entrepreneurship, information security, graphic design, and game art. So they can actually try
So they
something
can
out.
really feel it. And
Yes.
if you can last after 6 weeks, you're
Then
on
you're gonna
something.
make it.
You're on something. Yeah.
You can do it. And then they normally take something with them also. So they actually create something that they can take home and show to mom and dad and say, this is what I can do.
That
So
is
it's a
a
nice way to
great
kind of prove
idea.
to them I can actually do it.
Okay, perfect. So, and that's during the summer, you're saying?
May, we have one session beginning. I believe it's May 6th. And
Okay.
then the other one will be July.
Cool. So if you're interested in participating or sending someone or tell people about it, I think it's a great tool. I mean, I wish I had that opportunity.
to just try things out.
Yeah. Like,
You
Yeah,
can come
it's
take
great.
one. Try out one of ours.
Yeah.
close.
High school senior or above. Come on
Well,
down.
we also have, you know, people that are changing in their careers.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
of
lot of
course.
people that are changing in careers
So
that come.
many.
No, when
come
I'm
to
addressing
Mount
that,
Sierra.
I'm not talking about just college students and so on. I'm
Yes.
talking about
Right.
any person that's interested in. I mean, I would wish if I'm interested, if I was interested to explore more, I would definitely want to know whether that is something that I want to go to, and what a better deal can you get than actually. See, most of the stuff that is hitting us as adults, working adults, is the longest is a weekend course.
Right.
Yes.
And we're going to figure out something after the weekend. And I always joke in my presentations is, okay, so after we finish that weekend course, we take that material and put it in a safe place to use it once we need it. Like somewhere in the garage and you
Right.
never see it again.
Exactly.
And that is a typical. I mean, I don't know anybody that actually did different than that. So what you have there is like invention of the century. After sliced bread, the second thing best
Yeah.
is 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
You got to know after that or before.
Right.
Probably before.
Or before.
If this
And
is
you're
for
like,
you or
I'm not going
not.
to wait 6 weeks here.
Yeah.
But that
Well,
is
there's
awesome.
so many adult learners now that are going back to college to get that bachelor's degree because they can't
Absolutely.
climb up the ladder anymore. You need a
Absolutely.
degree now.
So I would elaborate on that. If there's anybody out there, any other schools and so on, or programs, if you don't have such a program, I think it's not good. This is a good program. So I wanted to get back on the tenacity part and then bring in another factor that I see a lot, moved around, is the gender portion. And I brought it up in the very beginning is that when I looked at, projectionists and so on, like, okay, is this a Laurel a guy or whatever? Is the opportunity the same for everybody?
No. No.
Okay.
That's the short answer.
So let's kind of help with that here too.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting. I love
formula.
that you just said, as I went back to see if you were a guy or not, because
See,
you're not
my
the
brain
first
was
one.
doing like
and
the
I know
projectionist.
that is on my, it's because Laurel's an unusual name, so, well, maybe, maybe not. And yes, it historically in visual effects and in gaming, there's a real gender discrepancy. And it really, it needs to be closed, and I think it just it has to do with a lot of things, societal, and also I think education plays a huge role in being able to help close that gap and give women students the support that they need. I mean, way back, ages ago, when I went into college, there was a feeling like, well, maybe you shouldn't be here because it's just a wasted education. This sound familiar?
I bet you, yeah.
A wasted education because you're just going to get married and you're not going to use this. So why should we spend all this time? And that was a common thought. Now those threads still exist. These things still go on, and I think all tech companies are now becoming very aware, and we're also of being inclusive rather than exclusive, and we're cheating ourselves. We're not getting what all our society has to give and to input. So I think it just gets more and more interesting as it gets more and more diverse.
Well, based on your experience and going through the ranks and so on, and on top of the tenacity word, what else would you kind of punch in to help the gender difference maybe and the opportunities?
To seek out women friends in the industry.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you got to have that support. There's a very small group that I, worked with on and off on different jobs, and having that camaraderie really made a difference.
Okay. We're throwing in some formula. If you're not writing, you're losing. So we got that. Connie, what would do you notice any difference in the driving force for success between the genders in school?
I see it shifting a lot for actually the females.
Okay.
It's becoming much easier for them to find a job than it was before in the past, because companies are trying to make things right and giving them a chance and not just ruling them out because if they're male or female. So I see it making a huge difference, and it might be actually sometimes easier for a woman to get a job now. So
I think what you need is a critical mass, which means you don't just have one or two women students or one or two women on a crew. A critical mass is when you know you're not representing a whole huge group of people, which is a very big burden to carry. It's like whatever you do, you're going to be judged not only on yourself but for your entire gender, which is not a good thing.
Yeah.
And so.
No, I personally love actually working with women, because I find women to be very direct. I wouldn't kind of generalize, but very direct. So I get more precise answers. They might hurt more.
It's worse. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, my men friends will kind of say, maybe what I want to hear more, or be more subtle. But I'll never get that from my business lady partners, because they'll just say whatever they think, and it might not be what I want to hear. So I like that, because that I want to hear what the truth is.
Well, I want to make it known that Mount Sierra wants all the women to come in and play with all the visual effects toys and all the gaming toys and the IT toys and the whole bit. I mean, that's the other thing is like just to feel as comfortable getting on that, using that equipment as anyone else.
Right.
And,
absolutely.
Cool. So let's just open this a little bit. Nationwide or statewide or worldwide, as far as choices, opportunities, and so on. Do you think that there is a particular benefit or none benefit from searching education far, far away?
For a student to search for education
Well,
far away,
you know,
To go
or
overseas.
To
For
go
college?
to go to across country or to another part of the state, or you know, because students apply for all the universities when they come out of high school, and they run, in my experience, they run with the formula like apply for everything you can, and you'll then, once you're accepted, you pick and choose. And then you have somebody going to Georgetown or to here, to there. I just had one person that was, that is a fantastic, great student, top of the class and everything, and his strategy was bad, so he got selected for college, for Pomona and for Louisiana. So it was like, where are the other colleges? Well, the strategy was bad, so now he hung. You know, it's a very disappointing feeling for them. Without me talking anymore, what do you think is the benefit of being close to home or being further away, going after a college that you prefer?
I think it depends on the person.
I think so too. I think some people thrive on having family close by for that support.
Right.
And the thing, I was the opposite.
Okay.
I had
So
a
you
year in
want-
Sweden when I was in school, which was extremely beneficial. And I think going anywhere, whether it's to school or it happens to be
Or
a
working
summer or working
overseas.
overseas,
Yeah.
because we are working in an international world. And the more someone can experience, have a broad experience of culture, the better. You know, the more, and also if they know another language, even better.
Okay.
So that's, I think, what our world is going.
And then on the, because I'm trying to cover a little kind of spectrum here at the end of the show to try and get your opinions, is I have two groups of parents coming out of kids coming out of high school. One with the feeling that the kids should finish the basic education in a community college and then transfer into a UC or something like that, or go straight into for college. What's your opinion on that?
My own opinion is to stay away from community college, but that's just me personally. Just because
that's-
I mean, I'm one of them. I knew many of my friends that it was just a dead end zone. I never felt like I could accomplish enough. And I think that a lot of people get sucked into that. They can't get the courses they need. They end up taking things they don't really want to take. It just ends up like longing the whole process instead
How
of
did
just
you get out of
going
that?
in and staying focused. Learning what I really wanted to do and moving on. You kind of have to cut ties and then restart all over again. And I think if you kind of already know what your goal is, go for it. And if that is going overseas, to go overseas. If it's going to a career college, go to a career college. If it's going to a university, it's going to a university. But I think it's an individual thing of how
I think it
you're
is.
gonna
And
go
I
about it.
think talking to someone like Tony is to go to and talk to people at the different schools and see what they have to say for that kind of guidance, which I think is, it's really finding out, kind of digging and exploring what that student wants.
Right.
Rather
Some people
than
do really well, like in a large campus, where they just want to be alone. They want to go to class and they want to leave. They don't really want to be connected in any way. Other people love small environments where they're an actual person. Like if a student walks down the hall, we know their name. In a
Right.
huge university, you're never going to get that individual attention. Are you going to have somebody that understands what your dreams are and to pick up the phone and call you and say, this job is meant for you? You're not going to
Right.
get that individualized attention. So
Right.
some people
Which makes
love
a
it,
big
some
difference.
people cannot stand it.
And also, if you don't know or have people in the family that have gone to college that say, "Oh, this is what this
Yes.
is. This is what this is like. This is," it helps tremendously for people to be able to succeed, to be in an environment where it's that supportive.
Where the synergy is.
Yes.
Well, and some people come with the background of no support at home. So
Right.
now they're looking for that support group. So you can't go to a big college and expect that support group. You can't
No.
go overseas and find that support group either. So you kind of already have to be confident in that area where
Right.
you can survive
What
alone.
else is really nice is that it's not only that Mount Sierra is this community, it's that Monrovia is a community.
It really is.
And
Does that
it's-
play for them?
Yeah,
far
it's
as
within a real town
okay.
and community with community events.
Where do your students usually live? Like close by? Or?
I would say for the majority close by. I mean, we do have
Fairly
some.
close
We've
by.
had students drive from Victorville into Monrovia just to go to our college, but that's because of the programs that we offer. People are willing to make that commute because it's a very specialized area. And I think our services speak for itself too, but the majority, I would say, are very close. And I mean, in the community, we're very involved, and we know exactly what's going on with the community, and we try to stay involved, and we encourage that throughout our programs.
Okay.
It's not just about just getting that education. How are you going to give back to society? How are you going
Right.
to become involved? Do you believe in giving back? It's part of what's being taught in the classroom. It's not just hard skills,
Right,
it's soft skills too.
Absolutely.
Communication, critical thinking.
Well, I know one thing when you're talking about different things, Mount Sierra just offered and I think got a new Toastmasters club.
Yes.
And that is a perk, a
It
benefit
is.
for the students and communication. You know, in some business courses that I do, I know that one part that I researched is that the employer will hire you for the skills he cannot teach.
Yes.
Not
You're very
for the
right
skills
on that.
So when you go with some degree and knowledge of hands-on whatever it is, well, there's 10 other people that know exactly that. But in order to excel in that company, you might need communication skills, and 9 don't
Absolutely.
have it. One
Right.
has, and that is the choice.
A lot of that work is collaborative.
It is.
So being able to work in a group, play well with others,
Yeah.
you know, it's those basic things. Make good use of time.
Good.
But those skills are also, taught regularly. They're integrated into the whole course of someone's college career at Mount Sierra.
Cool. So to summarize, well, we got the paradigm. So it's where do students go with their parents' will and expectations, and how do you come out of that paradigm? So in conclusion, what would you kind of say would be the summary of what we talked in a one paragraph? Who wants to take it first?
One paragraph for the whole thing?
A formula, magic formula of
The
getting
magic
out.
formula is this getting through and getting out, and then
Doing it. All right.
and then do it again. I think it's finding the right place to be in, and to really take advantage of what is there, and to have the freedom to take advantage of it. Internal freedom to take advantage of it. And that it's a set of skills that's not only a very concrete technical skills that someone needs, but it's also artistic skills, and it is all of those skills like playing well with others that will keep people employed, and being versatile, learning how to change as things change.
Yeah, we didn't touch on technology as much as I wanted, but I think we'll do a technological show maybe later. Just
two.
technology, part 2. Tani, what would you?
For me, I think for the student side is to let them know it's okay to explore something that they have a passion for. And for the parents, I think it's more about educating them that times are changing. So doing something as simple as playing a game becomes very normal in the classroom. That is what technology is teaching right now. And it's not just for the creative side, it's for business, it's for everything now that's being incorporated in the classroom. And letting them know that these dreams can actually make you money.
Make you money.
And let them know what we have done to kind of get our graduates where they are, and
Right.
that they are successful.
So do you suggest, to piggyback on that wrap-up line, that parents being part of the career orientation program process?
Yes, I think they should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of them bail out, so they can't actually
Well,
be
if they
blamed.
can be, if they can be there, I think
They
it's
should.
yeah.
Okay, so that way they receive that same.
It's nice to have the support
Update.
all around, not
Yes.
just from where you're going to school, but also when you go home also.
Good. So to wrap this up, I'll ask Laurel to actually give us, as a little perk to the show, like your best moments in creating all these super awesome movies. Or maybe about the Emmy, How was it?
Well, that
What got you to that? I mean, the movie itself and then
Well, probably one of the projects I enjoyed working on most was Terminator.
Okay.
And it was really fun. And I was working away in this little room with the optical camera, and I'm putting these effects shots together and all this, and all of a sudden the whole room is like shaking. Well, they had just let off, they had just exploded the truck right under my window.
Oh
So they had this model, it was late at night, it was probably about 11 or something. They blew up the truck, and it didn't blow right. So here it is, but of course this is the model. You have to make it again.
Right.
So quickly putting this whole thing back together again, and I'm running out there going, will you please tell me the next time you're going to let off an explosion? And it was a very fun project. We had to, you know, spit and bubble gum to put things together because there wasn't a budget, and it took a lot of creativity in order to get things to look like there's a lot of money on the screen when there isn't a lot of money on the screen. Very inventive job.
Yeah, we gotta make it regardless.
And this one was too. This was Dune, the miniseries.
Okay.
And it also was quite a challenge to get that one out the door.
So what brings you to the point where you can actually get this? How do you build yourself to it?
I never did.
It just happened?
Well, it happened because I just kept working.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept working, and because I always felt it's got to be the best, the work that I do. Yeah, I mean,
She's very humble, but she's amazing.
No, but that's
I mean,
what
truly amazing. Everything that she does.
Yeah.
She's just being very quiet about
so
it.
Laurel, I
Tony
feel
calls me an overachiever.
She really
I
is.
bring her something, and she goes, "Oh, here you are, overachieving again."
Everything is just over the top. Always.
I don't know. You know, I was looking at the list of movies, and I'm thinking, like, really,
Yeah.
really? And she's just here.
I spent a lot of time in dark rooms.
So you love when you're out in the light, like,
Right,
oh.
exactly. I'm out in the light. It's daylight. This is wonderful.
Good. So to wrap it up, I have like a bonus always of the show, which is I didn't prepare you for this, but there's always a fascination with people trying to find out the $1 million idea. You know, what is it that I can come up with, and get that success story, other than, you know, just working hard through a long period of time. So if you had like a pick on a profession, type of investment, or whatever it is, this is off the topic here. What would you go for to get the biggest chance, the best shot for success, if you were just erase the slate and go from scratch?
I actually have 2 senses
I'm like,
of that.
I'm so happy with where I'm at. I'm just not even like a made up answer.
You gotta
but I feel so fulfilled every day with what I do. Like,
gotta
I
inspire
don't
the
belong
audience.
anywhere else. This is where I belong. So I can't even answer. I really cannot. My life was meant to be this way.
Wow. Okay.
My life was
You know
meant
what?
to
We got to
lead
have
and
all of
guide
them, and
people.
you're the first one. So, yeah, Laura, what would you think if you looked back and you wanted to start from scratch? Did you have an idea or inspiration for Life B?
Life B. I can't imagine Life B. I can't.
Like
B-roll. B-roll, yeah. It's really fun. I mean, you do have a direction, but then life happens. So you have a thought, and then, somehow your route gets changed, and you're doing something else. But I think people eventually, end up or are where they are because they like where they are.
Cool.
I mean, I don't have a brilliant
We're not
answer
going
for
to
that.
get the $1 million answer.
No, I
honestly.
tried.
I'd say follow your heart,
It
but
is, like, if
but
you-
I don't know if that's really true to follow somebody's heart, because sometimes actually the best thing to do is to just work hard. So is it working hard or follow your heart? Maybe a combo.
I think both.
Good. In
Yeah.
previous shows, I put $1,000 bills on the table, and I got better answers. But
That's why
all
it
the-
didn't work with us.
Oh well,
Well,
now you're talking. Now you're talking.
anyway.
I don't know.
The money's going to start flying from the
I
air
don't
right
know.
now.
Tesla. I don't know.
Thank you. All right, Tesla. Right, iPod on wheels. thank you very much for being here on the show and discussing this. Is there anything I can answer for you in the show? No? Good. Okay. Give you a chance. So let's wrap this up. Visit Mount Sierra. You got a great opportunity to check out if you or someone you know has particular skills or qualifications to perform whatever their dreams are in their life for free for 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And join us next time on the show. Nick Zigich for The Paradigm Shift.